be it Korea or Thailand,
Right.
you're always going to end up eventually hanging out with the nationals there. Is that kind of what happened at Snake Pit?
I mean, that was driven by our XO, Lieutenant Watson. He was very passionate about developing the IAs and us having a good relationship with him and wanting to share our workspaces and living spaces with him and stuff like that.
So was there kind of like a little teething problem there at the beginning of doing this, or was it the Marines didn't really have any problem with it?
Oh, there were some frustration with some of the Marines because Iraqis tend to have sticky fingers sometimes, where they might have thought, hey, my shirt or my cover became missing and stuff like that. But
yeah, I remember talking to someone when I was in Iraq where they felt that all Americans were very rich, and so when
they definitely ask for a lot of stuff, which is understandable, because they don't have a lot. And so
even with all this, y'all still there's actually some good relationships that formed.
Oh yes, yeah. I made some good friends. When we left, a couple of the soldiers wanted to stay in contact, and there were other Marines that actually shared gifts and email addresses and stuff like that with the Iraqi Army soldiers.
So there's a lot of progress is being made. Not even probably documented or even mentioned in the news. It's unfortunate. Well, if there's nothing else about the referendum, I guess if you don't mind, move on to November 1st.
Yes.
Because this is the first I've heard of November 1st.
Really? Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things where all these big events happen and sometimes they're just kind of gloss over the stuff they were involved in. So this is the first I've heard of November 1st.
Yeah, there was actually another event prior to October 4th.
Okay.
It was September, I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was around the 29th or so. We were out doing an insert on Route Buckeye where...
This Route Buckeye?
Yes,
okay.
Buckeye. It's the Buckeye is right along the canal. Habanea Canal. It's a route that is often laden with IEDs.
Okay.
So we were inserting a platoon to do I think we were doing a clearance operation. I was with the insert element, and there was another element that had taken a separate route on Buckeye, and we had a squad of Marines in the back of 7-ton. And the 7-ton driver lost control or didn't make the correct turn where that vehicle flipped and fell down the berm in the canal there.
I have heard about this.
Right.
And this for the 7-ton driver just ran off.
Yes.
And the concern was this 7-ton, for some strange reason, when it rolled over, it didn't go into the river. It landed on the only sandbar along the river.
We were definitely extremely lucky in that we didn't lose 12 Marines that night because it didn't land in the water.
So if it had this armored vehicle, would have kind of entombed them into I assume this pretty muddy in the water, so they would have been trapped. And
right, they would have been trapped and drowned. But the Marines first on scene were able to pull everybody out. I mean, we had one that had a broken arm, and I think that was the most serious of the injuries. Had a couple other ones that had cuts and bruises on the head and concussion. But overall, we were able to pull everybody out.
Well, there was an IED attack, wasn't there, later when they were Kazavaking these guys?
Yes. When we got the call, hey, we lost a truck, and we need a cash evac, so we immediately displaced again from the insertion point and pushed down to where the accident was. This time I was able to take the whole section that was inserting that other element with me, and we got there. We started loading up the casualties in the back of my high back, or the ambulance. During that time, we were taking sporadic sniper fire.
It was from across the channel too.
Yes, across the channel. They actually, Lieutenant Watson was fired at with an RPG. His truck was fired at, and we just had a couple sniper rounds come towards our evacuation site, or CCP.
So this kind of turned into an ambush of opportunity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't intended. Just this 7-ton just flips over and lands in the river, and the insurgents.
These guys, the insurgents, are out there watching, and they took the opportunity, and that was a perfect opportunity for them to ambush us, and they did. But we didn't suffer any casualty from the ambush. But I know that our security elements did return fire, and one specifically said they took one of the guys down.
Oh, do you recall who that was?
I can't think of his name right now, but
Just was one of the enlisted Marines.
Yes.
Lance Corporal.
yeah, Lance Corporal. What is his name? Yeah. He's still in the Marine Corps. Yeah. The name will come back to me. But once we got the casualties and we were pushing back to Charlie Med, as we were right by the hospital, the Women's and Children's Hospital, that's when my convoy, or our convoy, got hit with another daisy chain IED.
Okay, and in this one, what kind of damage did it cause? I understand it was pretty horrific, the explosions, but apparently the physical damage wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. The explosion was enough to scare the crap out of you, and especially with 7 Marines, or 6 or 7 Marines in the back of the high back, I know that had to have been pretty loud for them. The damage to the 3 vehicles were all of them sustained flat tires on the driver's side. All the tires were flattened on all 3 vehicles, and the windshields were smashed.
Yeah, I understand you couldn't. It was hard driving because you couldn't see out of them.
Yes.
So the concussion, the blast was actually. So if anyone would have been exposed, they would have been just kind of sheared off by the explosion.
And the armor on the ambulance, or the high back Humvee that we were in, the next day you can see where all the shrapnel had just smashed that whole side. I mean, it was just pepper like a shotgun, and that's if we didn't have the armor there, then the Marines in the back would have definitely sustained some shrapnel wound.
So what do you remember particular other than scaring the hell out of you?
Because
I assume these things they just come out of nowhere. It's not like you're in the middle of a firefight and all of a sudden it explodes. You're going along, it's quiet.
Oh, it's the middle of the night. It's quiet. We're not quite quiet because we just picked up some casualties, so we're driving pretty good, and we're in our MVGs. It's pitch black. All of a sudden you see boom, and then the flash of light and flames coming at you, and the only thing that crossed my mind at that moment was just the training that we had was, hey, you push through the IED, you push through the blast if you can, otherwise you don't stop for the ambush. So I just remember telling the driver, hey, push on, push through, we got to get these guys to Charlie Med. And we were fortunate ourselves that my driver was good enough to where he didn't swerve off into the canal and go off into the ditch.
So how many vehicles were in this convoy?
The CAS evac, we had 2 security gun trucks plus that high back, so 3 vehicles altogether.
So all the vehicles suffered flats. All of them,
Yes.
the windshields were shattered.
Yes.
And the gunners, I guess, were fortunate that did the gunners receive any shrapnel from those?
No, they didn't. The Marines were seen for concussion and treated for concussion, but other than that, no shrapnel from that IED.
And Lieutenant Watson, was he in this convoy too, or was he?
No.
He was still at the.
He was still at the scene, trying to recover the 7-ton.
Okay, I understand that the 7-ton driver, they had to put him under some kind of like security or something because the Marines were. Because apparently when he went off the road and flipped the vehicle, he just ran off. He didn't go to assist the Marines. I understand there was some kind of like security or something put up to protect them or something, or is that just Marines being angry now? Talking?
I think they were just angry talking because it was maybe the driver or the A driver was at fault, but I don't.